Glad you're here. Thank you for allowing me to present Senate Joint Resolution 73. I'm Mike Moon, represent the Missouri 29th. And I was going to start out by saying I was so glad that so many were here to testify on my bill, but I guess they've got other things they're going to do.
Senator, I'm sure they were all intending to. that last hearing went a little long, and so I'm sure it's just a matter of time constraints.
Yeah. I know that probably as kids we dreamed about what we call the American dream, and that is to have a home and all the other things that come with it. And I think that dream has kind of been tarnished a little bit over time. And we hear a lot of people. I hear from many people who say, "Well, you never own it; you just rent your home," and other things as well. And so, Senate Joint Resolution 73 aims to allow people to actually own their home and property outright, and it does so by allowing a tax exemption for your real property, provided you take some steps to do that. So after January of 2027, a person would qualify, the homestead would qualify as their primary residence. They pay 5 years of tax in advance, and there can't be any liens on the house, of course. You have to own it outright, pay the 5 years up front, and then the exemption would begin the following year. Now, there has been in previous testimony of the bill before me a lot of concern about loss of revenue, and that is a concern. So this joint resolution, which would go before the people for their approval, would establish a 0.1% sales tax on taxable retail sales. If you look at the fiscal note, I was surprised to read that Budget and Planning said that there could be a reduction of total local real property tax revenues by $1.1 billion annually. I don't know where they pulled that figure from, but here's something that I would like to say. I think they need to do a little more calculating, honestly. We don't know how many Missouri residents would apply for this, but not everyone would. I know people who have mortgages on their homes and are not capable of paying off the home and then pay 5 years in advance of a real estate tax at one time. So it's not going to be everyone, but I would imagine there will be at least a few who would do this. So the lump sum that's collected, the 5 years paid in advance, if invested properly, which the state treasurer would have that responsibility to invest it, would offset a shortfall for at least the first 5 years because they're getting 5 years in advance. The 1% sales tax is estimated to generate at least $100 million annually. And so first, with the $500 million, if that is invested, even at just 6%, that's going to be a sizable amount. I took the additional $100 million from the sales tax. At 6%, that's going to draw in $6 million the first year. And because we have a cushion of 5 years, I took that out 5 years. There will be $12 million the next year, 18, 24, and then 30 the fifth year, totaling $90 million. And that's in addition to the other $500 million that should be and could be invested. We need to take extra care not to just spend the money. We need to invest it wisely. That could be done. And the outcome would be outright ownership. And I imagine that just as I have heard from a lot of Missouri residents, there are others perhaps in your district too who want to be free of renting their home and property. That would satisfy them. And then the continued funding of necessary proper government services will be there because of the investing of the 5 year prepay and the $100 million afterward. And that could grow too as more people come in, whether it be tourism or whatever, to add to those funds. That's the nuts and bolts of it. And if you have a question or two that I can answer, I'd be glad to try, or I'll do my best to find the answers if I don't have it today.